Hello, Spectres. My name is Dr. Mercury, here to present to you the start of a new series. As a part-time YouTuber, part-time gamer, and almost full-time doctor, I think it's my job to bring you my understanding of different world-building projects, especially video games, with an emphasis on my understanding of the medical or biological component of what I experience or learn. Thankfully, there are a lot of great ideas upon which video games are based on, and the one I'm gonna bring today to the talk is one of my favorites, the Mass Effect universe, especially Mass Effect 1, since I'm gonna start the series with it. It's probably the most original in ideas throughout the series, and thanks to the Legendary Edition that came out this year, I can now experience it fully without the outdated graphics, glitches, and overall performance issues that I, as a PC gamer, have encountered on my previous tries of experiencing this game again. I did try and play most of it in my childhood, but now I want to fully immerse myself and treat it like the project that it deserves to be treated as. I chose my character's name based on what I want it to roleplay as, so it's Dr. Shepard, of course. Now, I gave it the whole Dr. Chewask redo, and I played it as her, actually, as a Sentinel Grey-aligned femshep. Why Sentinel? Well, it combines tech and biotics, so, you know, the wonders of medicine usually implicates both a synthetic approach and also a biological approach. And why Grey? Because, you know, as a doctor, I gotta give her some edge. She has lost her family and squad mates in the past, and now she's gonna do whatever she can, no matter the consequences, in order to save everyone in the crew. So life over any other kind of decision. I gotta give her the edge of a doctor, you know? So, replaying this gem, I was suddenly struck by the extensive codex provided by the game, even from the start. The more I engaged in random conversations, the more this codex gained new information, and it was quite the organic way of learning new things. The ins and outs of this world were subtly given to me. Every question had an answer, but each answer provided a new area that I wanted to explore. I gained this new information. It's the best kind of learning, in my opinion. This world that has a lot of subtle nuances that have reference to real life scientific knowledge. As you can imagine, as a medical doctor, my most desired knowledge had something to do with anatomy, bodily function, the intermingling of the various races of this wonderful world. So here is a series of questions that I asked, and their in-game explanation, and what I, as a medical doctor, believe was the real-life inspiration for the information provided, how it fits into our current scientific knowledge, and how believable is it that our future will look something like the science fiction masterpiece that the Mass Effect universe has created. So the first topic, it's in the name, it begs to be explained by a medical doctor, Medigel. It's the most common type of medicinal salve used in the Mass Effect universe, invited by our race, humans, proving our resourcefulness. It combines several kinds of medication that's used even today. It's an anesthetic, a disinfectant, and also a clotting agent, all in one substance. The way we obtain this kind of substance that is extremely useful, providing the kind of gripping of the tissues that could stop any kind of bleeding, contamination, gas infusion, is by genetic engineering. As you know, the Mass Effect universe is quite strict in its rules. One of the rules is you can't tamper with genetics freely. But Medigel is so useful to everyone involved in this universe that it's too powerful, too precious to ban. So what's interesting about it is that once applied to the tissue, it seals tightly the lesion, so to say, but it can always be released and removed through the use of ultrasound. What's not to love about it? Next up, we have the armor of this RPG. It's the combat hard suit. You see it in various forms for each and every race, and what's interesting about it is that it has the inner layer that protects the body through an intimate kinetic padding, and it's quite similar to what you would use for today's astronauts. But the outer layer, this is where the sci-fi part intervenes, is an automatically generated kinetic barrier that comes into action once a traumatic impact is felt. It triggers the barrier's reflex system and it envelops the whole body armor. It's powered by a shield power cell, and it deflects any kind of additional damage that the suit itself would suffer. Bodysuit itself, it provides protection against the various kinds of atmospheres that space travel would entail, like extreme temperatures and differences in pressure. Each suit comes in different forms and with different kind of tech integrated throughout its outer shell. Even if this kinetic barrier that can be used on a ship or on a person is quite useful in deflecting this world's weapons, it cannot provide the protection against the extremes of temperature, toxins, radiations, and it's quite useful to know the way it goes into action. It provides a repulsive Mass Effect field that deflects tiny projectiles through its emitters. New day and an important topic to discuss. The whole universe is based on the Mass Effect field. The whole series is named after it, after all. So, what is it? It's this dark energy that fills the void and permits raising or lowering the mass of all objects caught inside it. It's actually based on an element, a very rare element called element 0 or ESO. When subjected to an electrical current, this element can create the singularity, the manipulation of time and space that is at the base of every kind of technological or biological evolution in the universe. So, how do we obtain ESO or element 0? ESO is generated when solid matter, think a planet or components, parts of a planet like asteroids, are subjected to the energy of a star going supernova. So just before its death, the massive amount of energy released takes contact with matter, and this exposure releases ESO. As you can imagine, places where ESO is abundant are extremely dangerous. They require extensive use of technology and also an isolation from the incredible radiation released by the dead star. Uses of the Mass Effect fields are various, but the most common use is that of faster than light travel. It's what permitted humans and other races to reach distant stars and interact with each other. This travel is done through Mass Effect relays. They permit a passageway, like a tunnel, of mass-free space. This would allow ships to travel instantly far distances apart. There usually is like a primary Mass Effect relay, which is fixed on a one-to-one connection to another. Secondary mass relays are scattered throughout the cluster, but they provide limited range. Based on this, we can understand how and why the civilizations of this universe developed the way they did. Practically, once a new Mass Effect relay is opened, humans or aliens can reach unknown parts of the universe. Opening a new Mass Effect relay is a matter of some excitement, because you never know where that new connection will lead to. The biggest fear of the universe is the fear of the unknown, and a few primary relays are still unopened. So as space travel is such a common activity in the known universe, it's important to discuss what the effects of space travel and the spacecraft itself would have on the crew. Our best example is that of the Normandy, Commander Shepard's ship. The Normandy itself is quite small for the power it packs, so it builds a lot of radiation, maintaining its heat sinking capability. This is because of the stealth system that requires a lot of energy and combustion. If it doesn't release this radiation in time, the result could be catastrophes for the crew, burning them alive. Other emergency situations are as follows. In the event of a cabin decompression, emergency life support apparatus, or ELSA, becomes available. It is fireproof, which is a good thing when dealing with burning compartments, which usually can isolate themselves. The air can be sucked and the fire dies off. So you need some oxygen support in this kind of situation. Crew bunking is another can of worms. Different races require different kinds of spaces. While humans prefer company but do not appreciate overpopulation, other races are known to prefer shared spaces. Asari are a close example of what a sorority bunk would look like. While Krogans are the extremely territorial and violent even species that can cohabitate in a closed environment. So everything relates to the biology of the race. While Asari depend on other species for reproduction and form bonds based on their biotic lineage, Krogans have warlike tendencies, being used to fight for every piece of land they can and fight the genophage and all the limitations that it entails. Another kind of situation we have to discuss is the artificial gravity, or agrav, which is maintained below deck in order to prevent muscle atrophy and bone loss. This is something that is quite useful and close to our real-world space exploration activities as well. For the same reasons, astronauts train in a zero-G environment. For the semblance of normality, zero-G environments need floors that are colored a different pattern than the rest of the walls. This also has a different aspect to it. Prolonged exposure to gravity that is not typical to the one back home has the tendency to invert not only the human body's function, but also the mind. We are used to know that down is down and up is up. If all that goes to space and it tumbles your whole compass of knowledge, this could have like a psychiatric effect on you as well. This is the first episode of the Mass Effect series I'd like to start. I will treat the biology of the alien races and what we know relating to medical issues and science in general, based on the narrow view of the Normandy's crew in episode number 2. I thank you very much for watching. You can enjoy more of my content by subscribing and ringing the notification bell. Please like this video, because dislikes are no longer available, so we get what we can here. Thank you very much. See you next time. I was Dr. Mercury, signing off.